Ladies and gentlemen, remember me? I know it's been a while. Haven't really done anything in the last month or two, maybe. And even before that, things are pretty slow. I've explained the reason for that more than once. I've just been doing a lot of overtime at work because we have had one person out on disability for a long time, and that's been pretty much requiring me to go into work early to make sure that we can pick up the extra work. And unfortunately, we're only losing more people across the board in the coming weeks, which may require me to do even more overtime, but that is not an immediate concern because next week I begin a 2-week vacation, so I will be off from work for a couple weeks. Give me enough time to recover and take care of business, including what I intend to be a lot of recording for the YouTube series that I have been neglecting as of late. That's including all three that I'm doing now, Dragon Age, The Witcher, and Dark Souls, which I actually intend to hopefully bang out the rest of Dark Souls in the course of that 2-week period and upload them on a fairly regular schedule like I have been. The last few weeks I've only been uploading Dark Souls 3 videos because I happen to have a lot of those ready to go, and I don't want to leave you guys high and dry without anything to watch. I'm sure you all have been occupying your time with other things, so it's not like I've been neglecting you too much, but at any rate, I've been trying to do one Dark Souls 3 video a week, or something like that, because I have up to episode 32 ready to go, and I have not recorded anything after that. But since the next 2 weeks are going to be, free of work for me, give me a lot of time to do what I need to do, I intend to take advantage of it as much as possible. That includes doing all the recordings that I haven't been able to do, as well as perhaps kicking off my vacation with a long live stream event if you all are interested in joining me for that. My intention is to, on Tuesday the 16th, to basically start, let's say around 3 o'clock p.m. That's Eastern Standard Time, so you all have to make the time zone conversions for yourselves. We'll start a live stream. I don't really have any games planned right now, but there are a few that I have been doing and I intend to pick up again. Colette is a possibility if I'm in the mood for that. Exanima, I might explore a bit more in that because there have been a couple recent updates. And of course, the East game. What was it called again? It's been so long. The East Arc, the 6th game. Since I just started that, and I've done one stream of that so far, I want to continue with that. And apart from that, I don't know, we'll just kind of pull up games kind of as we roll along if it ends up going on a bit longer than I expect. But other than that, what else do I have to tell you about? I might also take advantage of my time off from work to look into kind of soundproofing my little booth here, as it were. I have my desk set up in a specific way that I think would be very easy to kind of enclose it with some moderate kind of soundproofing stuff, which I think would improve the audio quality at least a little bit. I don't know how it's going to pick up here. I did actually invest in a new microphone back a few weeks ago when Amazon Prime was having its Prime Day event, and I was able to get a really good microphone for fairly cheap, but I have not had much time to really experiment with it and hear how much better it sounds over the previous one I was using. And I don't know. At any rate, I do kind of need to soundproof my little work area a little bit because this office of mine is fairly large with a high ceiling, so there's a lot of echo going on in here that I don't know if it bothers you all that much, but it does bother me listening to it when I edit, and it just kind of I just want to deal with it. make sure that we've got a good little recording setup here. Namely because it is the getting to the middle of August here, and it's been hot as hell around here, and I do not have an air conditioner in this office. The only one I have is in my bedroom because that's where I need it the most. And in this current setup, I basically have to close all the windows in here in order to record and make sure there's not too much street noise coming in. That's all from the traffic outside because I live on a fairly busy street. So being able to isolate this, being able to soundproof my area a little bit might also keep some of the outside noise to a minimum, even if I keep the windows open and can keep some air moving in here so it doesn't get just boiling hot in here. Anyway, that's something I'll have to work on when I have time for it. Now, I'm talking about this as if I'm about to get back into regular 5 days a week or even 6 days a week recording, but depending on circumstances I have not fully committed to yet, that might not actually be possible, because you see, I have the intention of going back to school and taking classes again in order to pursue a program that I think would expand my career possibilities quite significantly. And really the only thing that's standing in my way of deciding whether or not I'm going to do that is the expense of it. I have to make sure I can afford it. I'm obviously not going to be able to afford it all out of pocket because it's going to be quite expensive, but I just need to make sure the loans are not something that is going to really cripple me. I don't think it should be too bad because I have the luxury of having a decent full-time job. But again, you know, there are variables that you can never really anticipate, and I just have to make sure that I'm in a position to be able to afford this, especially because I do not live at home anymore. I live on my own or with a roommate, so I have rent to pay, utilities to pay, and there have been some new circumstances where I'm living now that might actually require me to move out soon. Hopefully not, ideally not. It's really just a matter of the landowner of this apartment building just sold it recently to a new company, and my concern is that when my lease is up in November, they might actually increase my rent to something I can't afford anymore, because it sounds like they're planning to put a lot of money into this building. Now obviously they need to recoup that somehow. So if they do increase our rent too much, we're gonna have to find a new place to live, and that's just a hassle that I am not eager to deal with. But if it does happen, that's obviously going to get in my way as well, because even if we're moving to a cheaper location, there's going to be a cost involved with moving. And speaking of costs, of course, if I am going to be going back to school, there are going to be expenses one way or another. Some of these loans I'm probably going to have to start paying back while I'm at school to make sure the interest doesn't get out of control. And there are going to be, of course, just general costs with going there. You know, driving there, I'm gonna have to pay for gas. Gonna have to probably, my expenses for food might increase because I won't have time to make food. I'll have to dine out more often than I would like to, but anyway, that's neither here nor there. The long and short of it is I might not have as much money to spend on this hobby as I would normally have. So I won't be able to make any PC upgrades, which I didn't really have any planned. I won't be able to buy too many games, but again, if this does slow me down, then I have the luxury of not having to buy new games just to sustain the hobby, because I'm not going to be uploading as often, so I can stretch my series by a few months. Now, concerning that, because I'm going to be strapped for time, and right now I'm stuck with 3 different playthroughs I'm trying to do at once, I've decided I'm going to scale back once all these series are done. Namely, whichever series I finish first, I'm not going to replace that with anything. So whether I finish Dragon Age, The Witcher, or Dark Souls 3 first, I'm only going to continue doing the other two. I'm not going to add another third game. And it's likely that I will not have a second game. It's likely that whenever I finish the second series, whatever that might be, I won't start a new one to replace that one either. So I'll be back to just one series going at any given time. I suspect The Witcher is probably going to be the one that I finish last. So, it is possible. We have not gotten a definitive release date for the game Elex from Piranha Bytes yet. I do intend on doing a full playthrough of that when it comes out. Probably a blind run because, you know, I want to have it ready at launch, so I'll buy the game, and as soon as it's ready to go, I'll be playing it for you guys. Now, I don't know when that game is coming out, and if it does so happen that that comes out while I still got another series running, then so be it. I'll just have two series, and I'll just bite the bullet and try and crack down on both of them. Elex will probably take priority because that's the newer one, and the one that I think a lot of people are going to be interested in seeing before they decide whether or not they're going to buy it. And apart from that, whenever Elex is finished, my series for Elex, and whatever second series I'm doing, I'm obviously going to have an empty spot, and I'm going to need to replace it with something. So, what I decided is, since my remastered walkthrough of the first Gothic game went so well, I was going to do the same thing with Gothic 2, and I've mentioned this before. Gothic 2 Gold, I intend to do a whole new playthrough, whole new walkthrough for that, much more in-depth and much more prepared than I was for the last one. Especially because the last one I played as a mage, which is something I did not have a lot of experience with before. And a lot of people have criticized me for not knowing as much about the game as I boasted that I did. So when I do it again, I have recently played through the game twice in a full mage playthrough. And I think I'm pretty much as good as I'm going to be anytime in the near future. So sometime next year that should begin. And you know, I hate to hype you guys for it so soon before I actually get to it. But I also, to make things even more interesting, I wanted to. There's a lot of people who are well aware that the Gold edition of the game, the version that comes with the Night of the Raven expansion, is pretty much the only one you can reliably get nowadays. But I was fortunate enough to find a boxed copy of Gothic 2 on Amazon for a reasonable price, and there were only a few copies of it left, so I jumped on it immediately, and it is in my hands as I record this. I've not tried to install it yet because I need a new cable to power my optical drive again. I had to unplug that to use the cable for my new hard drive. So until I get around to taking care of that, I have not even attempted to see if this works. It should not have a problem. You know, they have made updates to the so-called System Pack mod for the Gothic game, so I should not have a problem getting it running with just a few tweaks. And I intend to I'm not going to do a full playthrough of Vanilla Gothic 2. I'm just going to have it kind of side by side as a comparison, because I've not actually played the vanilla version since like 2004 basically. So it's been a long time since I've actually played that one, and really the only major difference is that there's less to it and it's a bit easier. But just to make side-by-side comparisons, because a lot of people used to do that when good old games allowed you to install the version without the expansion, but for some reason they've removed that option, so you can only install it with the Night of the Raven expansion now, and that kind of blows, but it is what it is. I've got my own copy now. Unfortunately, I don't think there are any left, otherwise I would link in the description for anyone who also wanted to partake. Because unfortunately, I suspect that now most of these copies are going to go for exorbitant prices online. If you want the original box copy without the expansion. Anyway, I'm rambling now. Once again, this little update video turned out to be not as little as I intended, but thank you all for being patient with me. Once again, if you want to join me for a live stream, let's make it Tuesday the 16th, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. And hope to see as many of you there as possible. And in the meantime, I'll just continue to upload the Dark Souls 3 videos until I can get some more stuff recorded. And that's about it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again, and we will see you soon.